either.
No.
All right.
I know.
Well, aren't we a fun county?
How is
No
coming?
liquor, no fireworks.
Keep your truck. Nah, we lost it.
You did?
Yeah, somebody else got it.
Snuck in underneath you, huh?
Oh,
The
Jay.
worst about it is got approval, they went up there. All right, let's drive it again, they drove everything. And then the guy came back and goes, oh crap, I shouldn't let you did that, I didn't see, we actually already sold this. Just hasn't picked it up yet. Saved us a trip. I guess he was a newer guy. And, yeah.
Well-
So, no, we'll keep looking.
you could have paid for our gas.
Right.
Yeah.
Something.
You know, he said, could have been on a low budget here. We could do this. Go to that one.
Probably a private price. Right.
Try again.
Is it interstate open north Omaha?
No.
I know we got cattle Friday, he ended up down in Nebraska City because evidently 34 closed west of Omaha. I didn't think the Platte or anything was flooding out there, but he went down on the tube and then called me and wanted to know if he could come north on 29. I said, yes.
Yes.
I know. I called the sheriff and he said, yeah, there's nothing closed in the mills.
You was flooded.
And then he had to go back to central South Dakota, so he went
You
59,
need to resend it.
jumped across on 88, and got it above that. So I didn't know if it
I
was still.
assumed you got two.
So how are people getting
Because we
from
bring that up
Conservative
right
Valley? Are they going to Blair and then over?
Yeah.
That's how they gotta do it. Wow.
Because I don't think Blair's closed.
Wow, that's a nice trip, isn't it?
30's open into Black.
No.
I don't think so, but they can get over onto the interstate, right?
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about. No, I don't think 30's open.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
So you never came over and saw my bridge. South of my house. I was gonna show you where the old road was before the old 34.
What were you gonna show me?
The bridge.
Where's your house?
North of the ridge, you're gonna fix.
On 400th Street. Just had it. We were
Well,
talking,
you'll be out in that area anyway.
I live right there in 22. So the bridge is right here. And there's a stone bridge up in here in the trees where the old road came along and followed the highway down like this. Came into Emerson from the south to the elevator. On dirt. Because this was a swamp. Through here, the old highway. That's why the borrow pits are so wide there. They just dug tons of muck up and piled it up with mules.
You just have an old stone bridge there? Is that on your property now?
And it's silting in.
And start the meeting with pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If Mary was here, she could see the start.
I make a, oh,
Go ahead.
you want to-
Nope, nope.
I make a motion to approve the agenda, the minutes, no liquor license, and there is no firework permits at this time.
I will second that motion.
Do we have any, no correction or anything on the agenda then?
Nope.
Okay, we have a
Good.
motion to approve the agenda as presented and minutes as presented. We're okay with what we said about the truck last week. And we mentioned him getting the truck.
He's not now.
He's not now, so cross you off the list, sorry, fellas. Motion also says no liquor license and no fire permits. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I attended a SWPCO meeting last week, and believe it or not, we didn't have too much new stuff to talk about. Had a lot of reviews on end of year. Still talking about where they're gonna put the electrical plug-ins for the high-speed buses they're gonna get.
Mhm.
Nobody's happy. I mean, that's like, the transportation guy, he just shakes his head. He says, I don't know why, but he says the federal government says we will receive. We get the 4,
Buses?
but they will be run mainly in the Atlantic area. They don't want to venture out away from their electricity. And, basically it's like a 220 plug-in for farm welder or something like that. Only it's a special adapter that I think these are coming from Ford, not sure. Well, Ford, some foreign country putting them through Ford. But anyway, about all there, and then I did attend the safety meeting down at the yards with the county roads department. We had some fire demonstrations, very interesting.
Give me much.
Very good lunch. Ooh,
Put out the fire pretty good.
Hot dogs, no hot dogs, sticks.
we could have cooked hot dogs. That's all I have.
I've got nothing.
Well, I just came back from Atlanta. I am the honoree of the president of the Area Regional Council, which I feel like that is quite an honor for Midwest Iowa. You guys, I'm telling you, what is coming down the pipe is really scary coming out of Detroit. They're out of land, so they can't expand any more roads. So Atlanta right now is designing and it's flying. The wingspan is no more than the length of a Volkswagen, and we're gonna be like George Jetson. Is that scary? And they're already testing it, so it's not just kind of sort of dreaming it, designing it, it's already in the test stage. And I just keep thinking, oh, they don't have a choice. So
They do.
they do, but this is just bizarre. So quite some interesting things coming out of the Capitol and coming down to us. So, and with that, so then the next day when I got home, I had a MAPPA meeting, streetcars, that's coming along very well. And then Friday morning, we had a RAGBRAI phone calls. So our last one. Yay, we're ready. Ooh. We need more volunteers.
I
So,
believe what you see is
They
what
go
you
right
have.
by my. I go down there with my lawn chair and I sit at the corner of 400th and Old 34 and I just watch them go by. Some of them stop and want to know if Bianca has pies, and I go, she does.
she could sell
Some of-
slice of pie for
they
$10
re-
and
They
they would pay for
remember,
it. They do,
they remember.
they do.
Guy stops, looks and puts, your wife's a German girl, does she still have those pies?
And that's it.
Maybe the first or second time we had it, when it went through Emerson on the Red Oak. They had 15 riders that came out of Red Oak early in the morning going back to Shirley's to have pie.
Well, and to talk to Shirley.
You know what I mean? And the patrolman says you can't do that. And the guy says, why not? Well, you're supposed to be going the other way. He says, no, we're going back to Shirley's to have pie. You wanna come along?
I ate lunch in there that day, about 2 by the time I got there. There was 5 of them in there, and Shirley goes, these guys aren't leaving. I go, I can see that. This was the restaurant in Emerson that was
Sure as shit.
We're on
owned by
our time. Oh my God,
Lifetime.
and her strawberry shortcake. It was huge. It was the best.
They don't forget.
They don't
places.
forget.
You take the Sunday buffet in there. Unbelievable.
Don't stop there now, Rich.
No.
Oh, it isn't that good.
We either drive to the Mexican restaurant in Fresno for lunch, or it's Melbourne. That's what we do. Or we go to Yonkers, as the kids are. And
That's
she,
probably the
and she
best.
feeds us after the children.
Priority.
Ew.
Okay, Mr. Farrell,
All right,
you have a contract for,
do. You guys look it over. Understanding like y'all are looking at it, don't have any comments, so unless you guys have any changes or comments.
I would make the motion to approve the engineer's contract.
And I second that.
get a motion made and seconded to approve Mills County's employment contract for their engineer.
2-week contract, correct?
Are you on a 6-month probation?
Yeah, it's been on probation again.
There's counties that are looking
It's not really just till August?
Well, that's my anniversary thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other one's still in effect. Until August.
Get a motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
You know, it is kind of weird that I don't sign it.
I didn't write it.
You can fill out all the rest. Approval to
I got an
hire,
extra copy of that.
Maybe you would like to put your
One for
name
each
on the
if you'd like.
bottom, Jake.
You know,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Jake, I think you should put your name.
What year is it?
Yeah. I mean, that would kind of make it official.
we were hiring, I didn't look, we hired just for 23.
Is it 21?
Hey, you went through a professional attorney and he didn't see it, so. I will, I'll doctor that date, 24 and then send it to you guys.
Perfect.
Good. Okay, next on the agenda is to approval hire of a seasonal mower.
I will table that till next week. Didn't quite get everything in order that we needed to. But we'll definitely have everything.
So you do have an applicant?
Yep, we're just waiting on, just have some screening results.
Okay, okay.
Just get things in order.
Okay.
Table that till next week.
Getting new pickups.
Yes. Okay. So I'd like to add to our fleet, Silverado crew cab and Silverado regular cab long box. That one is, will be the shop foreman's pickup. He likes the regular cab long box when he's hauling stuff out of next year.
What years?
2025. So brand new, but I would be putting on order. I haven't really heard a lead time, so I don't remember to get it yet. I don't have my calculator handy, so the crew cab, 49,163. The regular cab, 46,254.
From who?
How do you say this? Netflix?
From Nebraska
we-
City?
We get them up in Sioux City.
Oh, Sioux City.
Are they a dealer? I mean,
Yeah, this is where we got our last pickups last year. We got them from. I looked at the state contract price. The state contract, I think, is with Carl Chevrolet, Des Moines. They're actually lower on the crew cab by about 2,000 lower. And then on the regular cab, there is no contract price for regular cab long box. They have extended cab long box contract price. but not a regular cab. On the extended one, they're 3,000 under this. So combined, they're the same, but we're still gonna use that contract price to go and try and whittle them down a little bit more. Their MSRP is 50,800, so they already came down 4,000 there. The other one's 54,900, so they came down almost 6,000.
Are we selling any of the old,
This is added to.
adding to?
Make sure you let A-Strip know.
Yeah, we always do that, all the new equipment we're doing.
So then where's the other pickups going? I mean, somebody else gonna,
Turning into spares, like, so. We're still we're keeping them as spares right now, and then, because we have the old crew cab for the brush cutting, it's basically replacing that. But we're gonna keep it right now on the spare, it's like a 2002 or 4 or something, so they are older, but still running good.
right,
And then if we find that we're not using them, we'll try to throw them on auction again.
on auction, okay.
We pulled in about 15 grand on the pickups we put on auction. Good, we were hoping for 10, so we did pretty well.
And my neighbor bought one again.
Did
Now he runs around with a bright yellow one and
Stouter?
and a gloomy yellow one.
Slaughter.
One faded.
I think it's
Which one did he get?
He got the one without the tummy lift, because he already had one. And really, you can tell he's his old pickup because it's got a, forklift, big tear in the driver's side where he thought he was okay, and he was watching over here, and he just says, I kept pushing and pushing, and he says, my pickup jumped. I thought, well, maybe I should back up. That was after he went in about this far.
Nice.
It looks cool. Character, that's what we call
Yeah, personality.
You know what, it just adds the AC to it. Right,
I'll make the motion to approve the purchase of 2 vehicles, both 2025 from, what, that quarter?
is this?
This is in your budget, correct?
It's in
Yeah.
budget.
We had, we should just keep it laminated, that sheet I gave you guys for the budget.
Right.
What are these together? I think we have 90,000.
Thanks a lot right here.
We're in the ballpark.
Alrighty. I second that.
it. There's been a motion made and seconded to approve the purchase of 2 pickup truck, crew cab at, sure I get the right one here, at 49,163, a regular cab at 46,254.
Right.
Any further discussions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Are these ours?
No, there's, they're all signature on there somewhere. Anywhere.
Hold them.
Okay, general discussion, safety meeting went well. As Richard said, we talked about pre-trip inspections and, we're going over that and found that some of our vehicles don't have the proper triangles, so make sure we're gonna order them and get them in there, so.
Good.
Good things coming out of the safety meeting, you know,
Good.
double checking on things for them, and going with the guys and running through the list and finding some things that we need to get new or replace.
Where did your safety guy come from?
It's just my
Oh,
truck, my fire department.
got it.
So he came down and they had a pretty cool thing. They charged the fire extinguishers with water and had a propane flooding thing and fire up. And we all went through it.
Good.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Well, they have a good safety film too. Really was. Give out a lot of information, easy information.
Good enough.
Kind of just a question here. I haven't had a chance to research it much, but also don't know exactly where to look. We had a 911 application come in, and they want to have, it's one entrance, and they want to have 3 911s. And so Kevin thought maybe there was somewhere where we only allowed 2 and have to go through a variance process, but
I couldn't find it neither could he.
to get a variance, we have to find in writing somewhere that we're outside of that, so. Just kind of pick your guys' brain, what your initial thing is on that, feeling on that of, one, should we get something in writing if we can't find it? Show allowed to.
Right. So he wants one driveway, even though he's,
Access to my easement.
But he'll have to have a post for each, I mean, if he has one driveway, but he's gonna feed 3 houses off of this, each one of them houses will have a separate sign.
Signs.
Yeah. But almost. The entrance. Our biggest thing is, the fire department or something. Where are they gonna go? There's one entrance, and then it's split into the property 3 ways.
And with the fire and rescue, you gotta have a direction to go.
Right. So I don't know.
so
They
is
should
his
have one back
idea,
on their property at where the roads.
Jake, he doesn't want to put 3 tubes in?
No,
Right,
not the
that's-
two, just the sign, just the 911.
Where are we at here?
Where the new one is, I'm just gonna show you signs. You got the same
Well,
thing.
that's what has happened at Tackaville. There's one driveway and 2 of them,
2, we allow, we've always
Right.
allowed 2.
but there's 3. Got it.
We've got 4 here. Access is this piece, and access is this piece, access is this one, and this one. This one driveway goes right here.
Travis didn't have anything on this. What you talking about?
Just an example.
But sure,
That one has 4.
Those
If it's north and south, what we do, when there's multiple, obviously, they go by numbers. The higher north you go, the lesser the number is. So if you have four driveways that split off, if it's east-west, same with north-south, the higher number is gonna be one way, and the lower numbers, so you just gotta calculate if which one's which.
It needs to be signed. We'll have to have that, I mean, we'll never search for all of them.
Yeah, we would,
hurt to get
we would have
these
it signed and stuff, but, okay. No, we couldn't find it, we can't do it,
Right.
so,
Move forward with this one, and we're gonna revise our zoning next week. Zoning and subdivision notice,
right. Okay.
Yeah, it definitely needs something in writing.
Okay. Finally got confirmation, John Thomas is leaving from the Canyons.
He is, yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah, so Paul Osman has taken his position. He's been in Hungry Canyons on the exec board as long as John Thomas, basically since it started, and they started working together. So,
I just can't believe John turning that chapter. I mean, he's been with that river
24 years.
24 years. I mean, he knows every face, he knows everything about that Old Man River.
So,
The
I'm
levees.
throwing my name in the hat for the exec board, Paul's position, so. Yeah, just like the next meeting. So, I like Hungry Canyons.
It's a great program.
There's a lot of money in there right now, so I'm really looking hard to see how we can tap into it. I mean, we got 22,000 for the 400th Street Bridge, that they're covering, so. I mean,
It's a good program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's very quick. You can have a project turned in a week before the meeting, get it approved, and fund it next week. So, I mean,
Wow.
it's not like a lot of these state government.
We have 2 projects that when Hungry Canyons first started
Mhm.
in section 22 where I live, that were funded by, partially funded by
Yeah.
Hungry Canyons.
There's.
But now they don't do farm specific, it's all big stuff, is what you're talking about. But the FSA and SCS misses that influence of dollars, and you're right, it's a medium. These were all the drop getting less with the run out to stop the,
Greenwood structures.
yeah, the Marshall silt loam just tends to eat constantly back in a flowage like that. And we'd like to do another one in Montgomery County, but ours came out of Oakland. That's where the original office was.
Mhm.
And they just look at you and go, well, you'd be way down the list. So,
Well, I sit on a new program that's coming in called
Alice,
Kara Morgan took over. She resigned from Golden Hill, took this over. Right now, we have 5 ponds we're gonna build between here and I think we go as far as east as Clarinda in southwest Iowa.
I'm starting to worry about the water. You better worry about it.
Yeah.
Which Shenandoah hasn't had water for 5 years.
Well, I always look at it this way, if you can pond water, you have water for everybody else. It's gotta feed out somewhere. And the government said, no, we're not building any more ponds. They haven't for 3 years.
SCS or whatever, NRCS or whatever, in the last 18 months that's the first thing they look at and say, would you like a pond? We'd like to build you a pond. Don't you have somewhere you want a pond? They're giving them away over there.
Not now, mitigation. A lot of that programs. If it's on a screen.
You gotta be in there every day. Terraces, I don't care what it is.
Oh, yeah. Most ridiculous program there is.
Yeah.
I always figured if you wanted to build terraces, you should build terraces, take your bill to the government office. They should get you your check for what percentage you're gonna pay and you're done. I know,
That's why we build our own. I'm not a patient
but
man.
Dad said,
It's just not that big.
he says, if my dozer man's not good enough to lay it out, I'll lay it out. So,
Anyway, I just thought you'd be interested when you're over there looking at the bridge. I'll show you those 2 structures.
Yeah.
And they really, other than worried about the cows falling in them,
Mhm.
they solved the problem.
Real quick, one cool thing that's come out of the Iowa Highway Research Board, they funded a research project and they quantified pretty much almost done with the whole state of putting on-road structures, so putting in, normally you have a culvert or something, but putting a tube that will slow the flow down to pond water back up. And they're using it to quantify if counties put in all these, how much storage, extra storage you get. And then use that to get to the federal government, FEMA, and say, hey, can you fund these projects, because this will help the flooding reduction or whatever by this much. And so they're trying to get that together. They've talked with them, but they haven't fully convinced them yet to help pay for this. And, or at the very least, if there's a FEMA event, to then replace it with one of these on-road structures to be able to pond water back. And
So they did all around Viking Lake about 10 years.
yeah, they can actually have a map now that shows areas that are good candidates for these structures, and then run the calculation of, and it's by county, so it's like if we do it and then, pot or Fremont, whatever, it's all the way up and down, what that calculation comes up to is.
it all coincides.
Then helping to release the dam water.
It's the right, yeah.
Okay,
Good.
That's all I got.
Thank you.
other than the graders are gonna be busy for a few days,
oh man,
Yeah, I had a couple of.
4 inches of rain does not help any.
that
rock
gravel
out
just
there.
washed away.
I just called this morning, Jake.
All right.
There's some pretty good ruts there, some places. You gotta have fun.
22282. 22282. That was a board
Okay.
right at the curve there. We're really washed out next to the drive.
Okay.
You're gonna get that area though. Is that
Yeah.
What'd you end up with, Richard, on these last 2 days?
And 4.5 this morning, or during the night.
Oh, we didn't.
Then,
You
No,
didn't have that much?
no, my wife runs out every morning at 6 o'clock in her underwear and checks the rain gauge. And then she's worried
She
about
is such a good farm wife.
traffic going by. I go, At our age, everybody needs a thrill. Just go tell me how much you're doing.
Please record.
We had 280 with the 2 days.
280?
I'll tell her that. So we didn't have near that. That was both days. We didn't hardly have anything yesterday morning.
I had 3,000 yesterday morning, and I had a little over 4 inches during the night. In 2 different gauges.
North of us got 6 and 7.
Wow.
Yeah, you can see it on the creeks places.
I just wondered, not to interrupt. Which I,
You can grab the chair over there if you want.
Okay, thanks, Jake.
Jake,
Yeah, Jake.
you're not Asa. Asa's on the agenda.
Unfortunately, I came back from vacation. That was my first mistake.
Coming back.
Yeah.
And then, I'm right about that.
it rained.
Okay.
The lieutenant colonel is home.
I had been it before, don't worry about it.
The lieutenant
Bill's got her down.
is at home and his wife left for Missouri and he has a whole free day and we're working on Betty's swing set.
Okay. There we go.
What we got first?
Detention officer.
Hire.
Okay, Crimson Ruttenberg, Ruttenberg. She has passed all of her pre-employment testing. She comes to Mills County as already certified. She's coming from Florinda Prison.
Nice.
So she's gonna have a 6-month probation period. Starting salary of $45,095. I do
Union?
not, what's that?
This is union.
Yep, union, per union contract.
Okay.
I do not have the exact starting date yet. I know Sabrina's working with Jolene. I think Jolene's kind of out this week, so they're trying to work on when Jolene can get in to get everything done. I guess as soon as we can get that, I'll get that information to you.
Perfect. I make the motion to approve the hire of a new detention officer.
And I second that.
Been a motion made and seconded to hire a new detention officer. First name being Crimson. She's passed all of her drug testing, comes to us from Florinda, Iowa. Been working the facility down there. According to the union contract, is $45,095. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Rate change due to union contract.
Jeremy Ripperger,
Ooh,
Ripperger.
Okay.
He'll hit his 3-year mark on July 7th. Per union contract, salary due to $68,157.
157.
Yes, sir.
I make the motion to approve the rate change due to the 3-year anniversary of our deputy.
and I second that. Starting on July 7th, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Said July 7th.
July 7th.
Been here 3 years already, Bob.
Time flies when you're having
Sure
fun.
does.
We have a deputy rate change due to union contract for Jeremy.
Ripperger.
Sounds good to me.
Say that real fast, Richard.
Well, he's met his 3-year mark. His salary will go to $68,157, starting July 7th of 2024. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. School resource officer.
I'm doing some research. I noticed when I was going through a lot of the paperwork and everything, our contract with East Mills has not been updated since the start of, us having, 2018, when we started the school resource officer program. I decided to go through and we pretty much kept everything the same. They're happy with it, we're happy with it. Problem is 2018 is what we have salary as. So I proposed an increase, sent all the information over to John. And what's the new contract opinion?
So, 3406 for the first 40 hours, and then overtime pay if he exceeds 40 hours a week. Sum of $51.09 per hour after the first 40 hours of service, and then the district shall pay the county the sum of $51.09, same rate for observed holidays and, overtime if they want to like a football game, baseball games, things like that.
So is this officer there all day?
Yep.
All
All
day?
day during the school time.
And the board was very happy and enthusiastic to have him there.
Yeah.
As I stated at the meeting, they were very glad the program continued.
And then with this, program, we supply him a car.
We do. We do.
And then
They
in the
pay for
summertime,
they pay for the salary and everything else. In the summertime, he actually works the road.
then he comes back on
Usually,
the county.
usually what he does a lot of times is he takes his vacation and stuff during the summer. So he's not missing school time.
Okay.
So kind of like when the teachers are out. So he'll burn a lot of vacation in the summer, but yeah, he does work the road in the summertime.
Who is that, Debbie, again?
Justin Farnan. And then it's gonna be done next week. We're kind of following what Adams County did. Adams County did a special wrap on the car for like an SRO car with, and we're doing it. It's gonna have East Mills colors, everything else, so it'll be kind of a PR. East Mills, it seems like their school is pretty liking it. I mean, it still says sheriff and everything else. It still have all the lights, but it'll have like the paw, the green colors on it and everything else. It'll look pretty fancy.
Get some sponsors.
The race car team.
So
Matter of
Josh,
fact,
is
here.
this a special,
I can't get it to blow up. But that's actually what it'll look like right there.
cool.
Nice.
Instead of the normal.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Can be on the pickup?
It'll be on the pickup. So,
So Josh, every school has this kind of program, right?
not every school. A lot of them, some do, some don't, but it's starting to become more popular because Yeah, with- you look what happened up in Dallas County earlier this year. I mean, I think Glenwood's actually, I think their new proposed year, I think they're actually putting a second SRO in.
Really?
Yeah, you need one
Can't
for
hurt
every
all the
school.
schools.
People pay attention to that stuff. And that'll be the nice thing when East Mills is all combined this next year into one school. He doesn't have to go back and forth.
That's right.
So,
Well, $34 an hour to protect kids.
it went up quite a bit because you figured the salary back in 2018, I think it was like $24 and something. So it's almost a $10. I figured they would balk at the contract, but surprisingly they did not.
They're pretty
They want it.
enthusiastic about keeping them there. They have nothing but this program, so.
I'd make a motion to approve that.
I second that. And of course, that started on the first day of school. Or is
Well,
he
it-
still all through the summer?
It'll take effect today because it's a fiscal year, but I mean, I assume he won't be there until,
Yeah, until school starts.
unless they want him there for some extracurricular.
The entire amount they pay is basically his salary for the year.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded to approve Officer Farnham for the East Mills Resource Officer, starting at $34.06. I don't know, I'm gonna say extra activities such as ball games, dances, whatever parties that goes on with the school that he'll be attending. He receives so much per hour more. Anybody have any other questions, concerns?
So overtime would be $51.09.
5409.
Oh, 54.
51.
5109
Okay.
for overtime.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, 5109.
Sounds about right.
3406 for 40 hours.
They usually
Everybody understand that?
usually the football games and basketball games.
Any other questions? Not all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You want this one signed?
Yeah.
You had quite the excitement here.
Yeah.
We had a van caught in Smith's fence out there about 34. Went down through the ditch,
No,
tried getting in the hog lot, didn't make it.
yeah.
Who's that,
Yeah.
Richard?
Out there at Eldon. Hit the corner post and in the corner, and went up over the fence panel, I settled down on it. He burnt the grass up and figured he wouldn't go anywhere. So
Jeez.
I got out with a can of beer in his hand, walked down the fence line, set the can of beer on the post.
And walked away?
So he didn't spill his beer?
No. And the hog didn't eat it.
That's a win-win right there.
Exactly right.
I'll get a copy for you. I'm also going to email one back from the district and I'll get it to you guys.
Fantastic. Thank you, sir.
When you go up and catch someone like that, you let them finish their beer before you arrest them, or you got?
Oh, no, it's gotta be a party cooker, you know, I mean, can't finish it this time around. Well, all right.
Thanks, sir. Any other questions or?
Welcome back, Josh.
Yeah. I wish I
How was your
didn't come back.
vacation?
It was amazing.
It was good.
Anytime in Montana is amazing.
Montana.
Yeah.
Good for you.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you,
that's it. Thanks, Gil.
Mr. Honeyman, you're up.
Okay, our Tom.
It's always a pleasure to meet you folks in a formal address. I don't want to take a lot of time. There's 2 or 3 things from the east side of the county that I wanted to make you aware of. As you know, the Summit Carbon Pipeline, sponsored by Mr. Rastetter at Nevada, Iowa, is right on the east side of your county, our county. And you somehow, by the grace of God, escaped running a pipeline from the interstate straight across to that pipeline. It has been changed from 4-inch to 9 since Navigator backed out. If there are any questions pertaining, I don't keep up on it as good as Jan Norris. I know Richard knows her, I know Carol knows her, I don't know, Ronnie, have you made her acquaintance?
Yes.
Okay. She stays up on it, she's in contact with people, and even though she and I differ horribly politically, I will have to say the information she gives you is not dramatized, it is just fact. So it is easy to make decisions off of fact. It's not seasoned, it's not slanted, and she's done an excellent job. She would be willing anytime that you had questions about what's coming, especially since the IUB, in case you want to read the IUB, you can read this. I went through it, and the only people on record that were for it were representatives of Summit Carbon Pipeline.
Mhm.
And yet, 2-1, they voted in favor of it. The 2 that were appointed by the governor, the newbies, voted for it. The 3rd, Byrne or Bryan or whatever his name is, voted for it with filed reservation. He doesn't feel it's necessary since Navigator backed out and Summit picked up Navigator's line, that the line from Sioux City to Shenandoah is necessary, that the route can be routed through, around, through Corning and back into the main line. So that was his negate officially, which is it. I did talk to Charlie Thompson, who is an attorney, And I've always felt like that this did not belong in the IUD in Iowa. That it was put there by the governor because she knew those people weren't elected. They're untouchable. They are very much in her control. Eminent domain has been my push from the start. As you know, I am very protective of the property that I was deeded to take care of. And even to the point of deeding 2 acres to my daughter, if you remember, which, anyway, he thinks that they have a whole nother term next year. Summit does not have any permit to dig anywhere until South Dakota and North Dakota decide that big oil's pressure is so tumultuous that they give in. So he thinks it'll be a completely another year, and he really feels like that it will probably be reversed. And I always thought that it would end up in the Supreme Court, the final decision. So, yeah, and having said that, there are 7 counties on record now that have adopted these resolutions that were written by Whipple. And of course, I would very much like Mills County to, even though you think you're not affected, as all this free money is flooded into the county, you 3 are going to be absolutely drowned with people wanting to do things to get this free money that will include our private property. Eminent domain is very, very, this is the one that Bremer County just approved, and I'll leave this with you. One is the actual resolution, front and back. This one, in italics down here, and your county attorney would really be interested in this, explains what happened. But these read very well. Mr. Whipple, if you don't know him, is a very smart attorney, and he did a good job. This is the actual resolution. So these 2 are the same, and my printer was running out of ink, right?
More.
Okay. The other one is Floyd counties, or Kossuth counties, and there's not a lot of difference, but the author of these has stated to Jan in an email that if you wanted to adopt these, all you would have to do is put Mills County in and change the signature on it.
Correct.
That he has no copyright on it. And I think over time that more and more counties will adopt this, just trying to protect their citizens' property rights.
Well, I think that's what should be done. I mean, we should do everything we can to protect the citizens of Mills County.
But Tom,
See,
did you,
excuse me, just a minute. You're already doing this. You just don't realize it. And your pressure from Hughes about driveways and all this stuff, which other counties really don't have, like you do, because of the interstate and the pressure from Council Bluffs. You're already, and for the past 10 years, you have been very aware of the safety problems, the infringement on the roads service, the infringement on other people's property, on how they access all these 40 billion homes that evidently are going to be built in the bluffs. Whether or not you can stop that, I doubt it. You know, you sell property and they build a house, you have to be able to get to it. So, I praise you for taking the time to plan that, this guy wants 3 accesses, but he in your statute, you can only have a driveway every so often.
Right.
So that negates that. You have to constantly be giving variances, which that's a mess. For instance, in the windmill situation, the counties now up by Avoca and up in there that have had windmills for 15 years that have been worn out, that have been damaged. Now Mid-America is coming in and asking for variances to those ordinances because they want to put a bigger prop on the existing tower, which will only clear the ground 50 feet. So it might have been better to stop that madness before it started. I'll give you an example. My oldest son, who graduated from Mission Valley, who directly went into the Navy because he wasn't sure about college, who retired after 28 years as a chief warrant officer, 4th grade. He went from 0 to CW04 is similar to a full commander, 05 in pay, except he's enlisted. He told me when he was on the USS Independence in the Sea of Japan that he had started smoking. That phone call cost $400 because we didn't have cell phones then. We had to appeal to Ma Bell that he dialed us direct, you know. Anyway, I said, oh, Jeremy, my mom smoked, everybody smoked after the war. I said, and Carol knows Jeremy. You probably remember Jeremy, great big kid. I said, don't start smoking. Well, you know, the chief says smoke them if you got them. And everybody just smokes. I said, carry a book, do a little dance, sing a song in your head, or run around the tower. Don't start smoking. Why? I said, because once you start, it's very difficult to stop. Well, 2 weeks later, he called, yeah, I gave that up. He said, I just couldn't do it. I just never had the cigarettes. I couldn't get them lit on the flight deck. He said, I just gave it up. And he doesn't smoke to this day. Sometimes these things that come up so fast, it's easier not to do them than to say, well, you know, we'll try it, because you can't back up. I'm going to leave these ordinances with you. And if your good auditor will, and there's an article here by the Charles City Press that states how Floyd County views the IUB that you might be interested in. I just ran that for that. The second thing on my agenda, and I don't want to take a lot of time, gets into the windmills and the solar farms. I have absolutely no reservation with Lanny Goy selling his farm. That is on the west end of 22.
Right.
And I don't even have any reservation in a Republic of Mid-America, which is a corporation buying farmland. What I do have a reservation is these people, this corporation does nothing for Mills County. I don't care what they promised you or the zoning board. They will do absolutely nothing but take. That 400 acres used to belong to a fellow by the name of Warren, who was distantly related to us. And the north side, the CRA is over 90. That ridge is extremely fertile. In my estimation, Iowa has one thing, farmland. We don't have a beach. We do not have Hooters on every corner. We don't have Disneyland. And I don't think that's a bad thing. But what we have is very fertile farmland. And if we don't protect it, folks, it's going to be gone. Now, they told the zoning board that they're going to plant virgin prairie, and they're going to provide and sustain bees to pollinate the crop. And oh my God, the list is this long of all the things they're going to do. There's probably going to be 10-year-old girls in pink aprons out there every Thursday afternoon with cookies. I have no idea, nor do I know what the safety ramifications are solar are, and neither do they. No difference in the pipeline. These idiots have never dug a pipeline in their life. They hired people that are oil pipelines. They've never done it. But they'll sit right there and tell you that it'll never rupture. If it does rupture,
You won't know it.
half of Emerson will be dead before they can turn around at their sink.
Like the story we've done at Mississippi, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The emergency
Sad.
vehicles could not enter that because
They
they
didn't
died.
know,
There was
exactly.
the engine died. There's no oxygen. So anyway, those things, there is a strong group that is combating it. But I tell you, as you know, from hearing or actually being on the board with the guy with the chrysanthemums, with the county dump, with the bean mill up here, big money is very, very pushy. And the only barrier is you three people, the elected officials. And so I'm asking you to not change the zoning. That is zoned agricultural. Stay with your zoning. It's no different. Someday, I really hope that the lieutenant colonel can come over. Bill is the chairman of the comprehensive plan in Montgomery County. I think you know the other farm, one of the other farms is right over the other one. And he has a story you people will be laying on the floor laughing about their idea of Mills County and how they formed the zoning plan to steal people from Mills County. Because you are so successful and you have so many people moving in, and it yields more property tax, which yields economic development, which is a magic word.
Boom.
Most of them can't spell it, but they can say it. And I'm telling you,
Dang, big
Bill was
finally of it.
just in tears, and finally he got composure. He says, have you folks driven from Red Oak to Mountain? I mean, they're planning a truck stop south of his house on 34.
Have you driven there? There's nobody there. Why in God's name would you stop there when you can go to Glenwood? Yeah, well, so I would hope there's some still public hearings or something on the solar deal. And I, for one, would not be afraid to tell Mid-America, you better stay with your current renter, who's Jim Gregory. They're doing a very good job. Farm it. If you wanted to buy it for 3 times what it's worth, just farm it. 10 years ago in Forbes magazine, Warren Buffett came out and stated, there is nothing economically feasible about windmills or solar farms unless you can get the public to pay for it. He's doing a pretty good job, wouldn't you say? And he counts the asset. You won't count the asset, I won't. The third thing is apathy. I know you're gonna tell me because other boards have told me, Bremer told me, Shelby told me, we sit here and nobody comes in and tells us what to do. We wanna do what the people of the township or the county want. Well, I'll tell you why. You all know Butch Bruce. I've known him my whole life, in Uki. So I went over and I said, Butch, I can't go to this hearing. Are you going? No. Randy, who's gonna stare at that with his house, didn't go. Of course, he works for Butch. I go, why in God's name not? He goes, they're gonna do what they want to do. You gotta turn that feeling around, folks.
Right.
You need, Montgomery County, God bless their brazen souls, they have 25 people in there that are concerned, and they ask them to do things and they won't do it. I think if I was on this board and I had 25 people here every day, it would be a gift. I don't care if I had to sit here all day. Because you would have a feeling for what the county, where it was going, what it was going. I'm chairman of the Indian Creek Township. We send out cards. We don't get a lot of them back, but we try to do what the township wants. And it's a struggle. I'm there with you. Those are the 3 things that I have. The resolutions that I think are very, very pregnant. I think they are very, even though the IUB's made a ruling, I would be on file if there is a court case, whichever way, and it will protect you in the future. If you can do anything about canceling this solar farm that's west of me, it would be a gift. If they want a solar farm, what's wrong with the thousands of acres that the United States bought after the flood of 2019? I told Carol, the Swedish people put their solar farms 20 miles out to sea. My son has had to steer around it. I don't think the next flood is gonna be as deep as the Atlantic Ocean. And they get along fine.
That's right.
We have deserts that are bare. There's no windmills, there's no solar. The wind blows there and the sun shines every day. Why are we taking our only asset in this county and in Iowa? Why are we utilizing that for something like, to me, there's no
Tom,
reason.
how much is the pipeline going through your ground, your field?
Do you know where our farm is, east of Emerson?
Uh-huh.
When you go out on the old highway, there's trees all along the south edge of us. So it goes right up the east side between us and what was Peterson's, which is now Lakin.
Okay. Wow.
That's where when they did the economic study, Tom McDonald was shooting at these guys, and I thought, I told Bill, I said, I'm just gonna go down and talk to these guys, because their license plates are Alaska. And
Oh,
so,
so they were down there at survey.
well, yeah, and see, what they told you was they were under federal protection. No, they were not. On a
So that
federal,
gives them the right that they can be on your property?
on a federal job, they're under federal protection to survey, but not on Summit Carbon Pipeline.
Right.
It's private. So they had there's 3 surveys that have to go through. And this kid, I was nice to him, and he told me, he said, this is nuts. He said, normally you have the environmental, the topography, and the soil survey, and you take those results and you formulate a route. Summit Carbon, they draw a line across Iowa, hire these people and say, this is where the line's going.
So I don't understand. Why don't they just go along 34?
59. It
59?
runs parallel. And
Just go along there. Then
there's
it's not
plenty
gonna
easy.
bother anybody's
It's
foreground.
no different than Mid-America. They don't want to screw with the federal government. They don't want to mess with
And it's
DOT.
better to screw around with a farmers that
They picked,
give up?
they picked out each individual farmer. When you have a bully at school, Carol, he doesn't go attack 7 fourth graders. He picks out one. Rastetter is a bully, and Mark dealt with him in Iowa State. He is a bully, born and bred.
Well, you don't have Terry Branstad.
Well,
You know, he's kind of,
right in his
Yeah.
pocket. So anyway,
Big.
I'm down there looking at this environmental study, and they're down there. If, you know, there's a spring that comes under the railroad there at the north end of that, or at the east end of that property and runs along, goes into Indian Creek. And I've been down there 2 or 3 times, and there was a pretty good beaver den down there. And the male beaver was pretty protective, which a lot of people don't realize, but they can get. So this, what they're doing is they're walking along with these computers and they're mapping that stream to where it comes through, because they're gonna have to cross all that mess. And I told this kid, I said, you wanna be careful down there if you get close to that hut. It was cold, there's no snow in there. Yeah. And I said, there's a male beaver in there that's about 3 or 4 years old, because he's pretty good size, and he's very protective of that hut. Yeah. So I'm up here, and he's down here, and this other guy's wandering around, and I'm looking, all of a sudden I hear this. And this guy is just booking down the creek, is dodging trees, yelling at me, and he goes, God, you beaver, say that. Sure enough. And that might be one of the reasons they were thinking about moving that line east,
probably
was that
so.
beaver. Thank you for your time.
Oh,
Tom,
Do you have any questions?
sure.
I think you've all got my number, and like I said, private meeting, whatever, Jan would be happy to bring you right up to speed. She is much more impressed than I am. I'm gonna leave.
So
it
when I
with
went to that meeting,
Yes,
and 8 of them said they were gonna be there at the
there was
supervisor,
15 of them,
they all showed.
and
And?
that's when the chairman lost his mind.
And did he decide to do an ordinance?
No, the problem is in Montgomery County is they do not understand parliamentary procedure. So one of the biggest mistakes they made is when they went to 5 people. All they did was personify the problem. Because we as rural people cannot vote out Mike Olson, who is absolutely worthless.
Because you've got territories.
Yes, everybody
Right.
should be at large,
That's right.
and you don't need 5. So the other 4, if they understood parliamentary procedure, they can petition to put that on the agenda. They can force him to put it on the agenda. Plus, he doesn't understand that being the chairman is nothing more than the organizer of the meeting. Now, anything less than 10, Richard can vote if he wants to. That's decided by the group. In small groups, like the trustees, the chairman votes on roll call votes. And if there's more than 10 people, he does not vote unless there's a tie. If you don't understand the rules, you can't play baseball. And you sure can't play baseball if you have a blindfold on. But that's where politics comes in. Because politics goes along and they lift up the flap they want to and say, well, you can play baseball this way. See what I mean? So no,
So nobody runs against Mike in his territory.
nobody, no. There's nobody lives in his territory, North Laredo.
See, what a shit show that would be.
Yep, and it's the same thing. Bill is
Well,
represented
won't be
by,
happening.
what's the guy in Stanton?
Peterson?
Peterson, who again, no experience. If he hadn't married Melanie Watson, he'd probably be in the soup line in Council Bluffs, and I can say that openly. He tried to sell tractors, he couldn't do that. The only reason he is a so-called farmer is Melanie's dad left her the farm. So that territory is a big C all around Loretto. He has never been, has no idea where the county line is between Mills and Montgomery County. Lives in Stanton, between Stanton and Blister. The same deal, that's all rural.
That's a heck of a big territory.
Well, they try to balance it by population. So if you take Red Oak and they divide it in half, then you end up with all this void.
Got it.
So that's who we're represented by,
Oh,
which I might say is no different than Mills County. How many people on all of your boards are from the eastern side of the county? None, not one. And I don't count Silver City as the east side of the county. It's the same thing in Montgomery. But,
but we
Karen
can't get
Blue-
anybody on the east side.
okay, so what is the procedure to be put on compensation or zoning or? comprehensive plan? What's the procedure that citizens would have to do? What is that?
Just ask them,
Ask who?
ask whoever wants to be on the,
Who asks?
we do, the comp board, the public health board, the,
Who asks? How do you know who wants to do that?
well, we pick out names who we think would be, like to do that.
Okay.
I mean, what else would you do?
Well, I've asked people in Indian Creek Township.
And?
I'll throw, you know me, I'm the McGrews, because 4 years ago, we sent out 20 letters to people under 40 years old, because Dave Anderson's older than I am. Rob Washburn is younger than I am, but the reason our meetings take a long time is we have to hear the same stories every time. I'm worried we're gonna end up with no trustees.
Because they don't want to come forward.
We sent out 30 letters, 3 people showed up.
Um,
They have no idea what the levy is, they do not know what valuation is, they cannot calculate how the valuation and the levy creates the budget for the township. They don't know what that
They
levy,
don't know the fundings.
they don't know what it's for. I'm taking your money and I'm spending it and you don't care? Well, you're gonna do whatever you want to. And that's why I wanted to address the apathy. I had a great idea for the auditor, the state auditor, and I talked to her. She didn't know who I was, and we talked about in the primary election how horrible the turnout was. And she agreed, and I said, I got a great idea. She goes, you realize these rules are set by the state? I said, yeah, and if you're gonna tell me you have no choice, since 1970, I figured out that meant you do have a choice. You just don't want to do it. So I suggested that you have a primary election or you have a quarter election or whatever it is. And for instance, in Indian Creek, if you don't, and let's say there's 10,000 people, if you don't get 5,000 votes, you come out publicly and you say, okay, folks, we didn't reach the 50% mark. So we're gonna have that election next week and we're gonna take another $150,000 out of your pocket. And we're gonna do that until we get 50% of the vote.
Right.
So you can either sit on your butt and it'll cost you, or you're gonna vote. Then you run into the problem, are these people that are voting qualified? Who my neighbor, Commander Stearns, brings up, who's the chairman or the president of the school board in East Mills, 25-year Navy pilot, that you don't want people voting that aren't prepared. I said, Mark, I think eventually after they got dinged on that property tax about so many times, they'd start getting informed. But the state auditor, she goes, man, I don't know if that'd fly. I said, I don't know, it won't fly, but it would work. It's like, how many times does your 3-year-old girl tell you no? Even when you had other 3-year-olds in your house driving your wife crazy. I know, not too many times. Well, why do we put up with it? The apathy is ridiculous. And it's developed, it's not a new problem, but it bothers me that those guys stormed Normandy and
What
died.
happened?
There were doctors in there, lawyers, there were people that could solve cancer, and they're dead, so we could vote. But yeah, we're too lazy to get up off our ass and drive from Emerson to the museum to vote. So they just don't vote. Doesn't matter. Does matter.
It does.
Does matter. So if I can ever help you over there, solicit people, you let me know. I've lived there 55 years. I have never been called. College education,
We'll call you.
you call me. That's all I got. Your day's gonna be long, but it rains, so you don't have any chores.
We don't have anything else to do.
All right, thank you so much. I assume you do not want this.
No,
I,
Oh, yeah, they sent one to the county.
Yeah.
It's a lot of reading.
It is.
a lot of BS.
And that's the other thing that's wrong with government.
Up in, Harrison County Supervisors got together where the line's going through. And it was within 55 feet of a school. They put up a ordinance and stuff that it would have to be at least 500 feet away.
Oh, it should have been a mile away.
And Carmen goes, we can't move that now. That's a line we've drawn.
Yes, tough.
They can move it.
They don't want to. And, you know, Shelby County's been the pioneer in this. And they sued Shelby County, and now all these counties are hovering, waiting for that thing. You know, Shelby, it hasn't cost them a dime.
Yeah, I didn't do anything to them.
Their insurance picked up the few charges there were about insurance. Mark, I mean, I really praise him. He said, you know, we were elected by the county. Read in the Code of Iowa what your job is. It's to protect the citizens' safety, provide the roads, and take care of the engine. That's it. If that's not complicated enough these days, then God bless you. But, I mean, they didn't hesitate. They said, sue away, man. We got a county attorney. Knock yourself out. Hasn't cost them a nickel. And yet Olson is terrified that Montgomery County is going to get sued. Bring it on. Yeah, I agree with you, Mark. Anyway, I hope you consider that. And if you do want to do something, I would encourage you to do so, and you might let me know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Yes, sir, what can we do for you?
Is it break time or?
No.
We're still going. We still have, some other things. Are you wanting on in general discussion or what?
I was just kind of doing an update on the flooding.
Have we got it?
At the end,
Yeah.
general discussion, we're almost done.
Okay, yeah.
We'll get there.
Amy, Peter?
That would be me. Okay, so here's a.
You can have a chair here if you want to.
Carol, come on back.
Hope so.
This is a resolution for the environmental health subdepartment to officially be moved structurally underneath building and zoning. So this is just right. And that.
Okay. Wait till she. Might have to go retrieve her. She probably went in there, well, no, if Tom's out there, she won't be back.
You might want to grab her. Just tell them we're kind of holding it over for her.
Yeah.
Good, thank you.
Carol, we're up to resolution 2415. It's our environmental health sub-department moving the environmental person from health department to P and Z, which has been done, taken care of. So formality, need a motion and a second.
I make a motion, because he's already moved over and everything is all taken care of, correct? Okay. Make a motion to approve the resolution 24-15.
Second thought.
Motion made and seconded to approve resolution 2415 for environmental health sub-department move from public health to planning and zoning. Any other discussion? Comments? Hearing none, roll call.
Crouch,
Yes.
Mayberry,
Yes.
Bentley.
Yes.
Okay, the next one.
Okay, you want to explain this one or?
This
Go ahead.
is just the salaries that we do every year for the non-elected employees that needs to get printed into the paper, so the resolution stating their salary, so you guys can, get a copy, you can make, or you can, I'll look at it if you want, but you do all need to sign it first. Okay. And then they'll all be in the paper.
I make a motion to approve the resolution 24-17, salaries for the non-elected employees for the 24-25.
I'll second that motion.
Been a motion made and seconded to approve resolution 2417, salaries for non-elected employees for year 24-25. Any questions, comments? Roll call,
Crouch,
yes.
Mayberry,
Yes.
Benton.
Yes.
Okay, this resolution is just for the transfers that we do for the engineer's office. So the first one's normally November, so they'll move that money in after the tax comes through. And they'll get their second portion March or April whenever they contact and say they're ready for it.
Okay. Well, I approve that resolution of 24-18 for the secondary road transfers.
I'll second that motion.
There's been a motion made and seconded to approve resolution 2418 for the purpose of secondary road transfers which take place September,
No, normally it's around November.
November. After taxes are received.
Right.
Any questions? None, roll call.
Crouch,
Yes.
Mayberry,
Yes.
Benton.
Yes.
Okay, and this next part I have underneath you guys, you probably at some point here, you can talk to, Mike Galloway and have a discussion with him, kind of get his legal viewpoint on this. I just want to make you guys aware that as of June 30th, per the Senate and stuff, the compensation board was dissolved, so now it's into your hands, whether you guys want to be the ones in control of that completely, or whether you want to have the comp board, and then with the comp board, there would be different regulations than normal, where you can divide. It's not like across the board anymore, like if you lower where it would have to be lowered or whatever. You can do it for individual departments and people. So anyway, Galloway would like to have a conversation, just informative at some point.
I like
so you guys
I would
can have
like
it.
that.
Yeah.
And we knew that was coming.
Yes, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So
Can you
regardless,
set that up?
yes, and then if you guys did end up wanting it, which you may not, but if you did, everyone who is currently on it would be, they're done. So you can invite them back for a new term, or you can start new and fresh. And then they would follow along suit with like, so the auditor's person would be renewed when they're up for election again, and that type, so it would be staggered still.
Got it.
And we would have two, right?
And you
Board
would
supervisors
have to, I
have two.
believe you would still have to, I would have to look, I believe so.
Doesn't each department have two?
No,
No.
no,
County
there's three of you.
supervisor is the only one that has two.
But not the sheriff?
No, it's only
Only
two,
got one.
yeah.
There's 5 departments and 1 extra through the supervisors.
Is this something with Mike that was convenient to do?
Yep.
Thank you.
You bet.
Okay, does anybody have anything on general discussion? You did something, Brandon?
Nope, I was just here, but while I was here, Alex said our basement's got some water in it. So
Yeah.
just wanted to let you guys know, I'm gonna go help him clean that up. I had him email Travis, I told Katie, so.
Thank you.
We're gonna have to do something around that inlet outside. I know there's a little pad poured around it, but we need to pour some more around it so it doesn't, because it fills up. Number one, it's not big enough. Number two, it fills up and then everything goes into the basement, so there's nowhere else to go. So
Yeah.
we need to look at that.
Yeah, because when the ditch gets full down there and it holds the water in the tube, then it comes back up the drain, then it goes in the basement.
So there is a drain down there.
Yeah, but it runs to the greater ditch.
It's in the, you have a swimming pool outside your door. The water can't go anywhere other than,
It's poor design.
it's a bad design. And then it fills up with
Sure.
sticks, dirt, rocks, and then it can't go anywhere.
So how do you have a sump pump that you pump that out? And
No, it's just full of lead. It runs out. but it's-
Oh,
It just goes to the drain, we put fans down there to help dry it out.
okay.
Even the fires.
Yeah.
That would that ditch
That's
be,
on us.
that would be our property, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, I mean, where the ditch runs, no.
Well, it's our property, but the city, you know, I think that's owned by fee title. I don't know. that-
Well, we were talking about it when we were doing the addition.
The ditch isn't the
Remember?
problem, though. The pit is.
Yeah, the pit's the problem, and then they can't, because it's lower than what the ditch is.
No, no. it's
No.
not. No, the ditch isn't lower. It's,
There we go.
I have pictures of the water, if you guys wanna see them.
Yeah, we're just talking design. Thank you.
Okay.
This is a swimming hole right here. Everything flows down into it. The elevation of this, the water can easily get into the ditch, Richard, but there's nowhere because everything flows into this
Right.
hole. This inlet gets full of debris and the water can't get in, so it's only other choices to go into the building.
Yep.
So we need to pour some more concrete around this, probably the whole pad down here to just keep it from,
Does anybody go through those doors?
when they need to get out of there.
Kevin, Steve.
Huh?
Kevin and Steve drive down there all the time.
Yeah, when
Oh,
they
they
get in and out of there.
Oh.
That's the only access to it, and it's carried upstairs.
I know, but could we fill that and, I don't know, have another entryway, but
Can't get the election equipment out
Yeah,
there.
you can't get the stuff
Oh.
in
that is a shit show.
Some concrete will fix it.
I
That's,
told him Mario was standing on his head today, he designed that.
Richard, good Lord.
It's just a little 2x2, 4x4 concrete pad around that inlet. It needs to be, it's dirt and rock outside of it. We just need to clean it up and pour more concrete there so
Like-
it works better.
Like do a bridge type of thing?
No, just, it's dirt and rock that washes into it. So you need to take the dirt and rock and make it concrete. So that there's no dirt and rock to wash in it.
I get it, okay.
No different than a driveway to the kids' full corn stops.
On farmers.
Hey,
Yeah, keep honest.
That's all I had, so,
Keep poking us
Okay.
on that. We'll get it fixed.
thanks guys.
Thanks, Brad.
thank you. Anyone else have anything else in general discussion? Harold? I have a meeting this afternoon with the governor to talk over the resource center.
So, talk and talk and talk. Are they doing any action on that besides shutting the door and walk away? Or do we just keep talking and
Carol,
nothing?
Carol,
I,
read between the lines.
I,
I'd have to do away with you if I tell you anymore. How's that?
I
No,
get
I
so
will-
frustrated.
Well, hopefully we can let some things out after we have this meeting today. So, kind of where we stand.
Yeah,
Well, I do too, but I mean, I'm not holding this first string, so.
but yesterday was the last to get all the kids out.
No, they all been gone since the
Keep
18th.
pulling it down.
I think it was all pretty well out in, 18th of July, I think, the last one left.
Oh, boy. Yeah,
They're still cleaning. I think it was, right now, I thought, someone said there was 12 to 15 people still on payroll. The main thing is to run the powerhouse.
another big history.
Well, if there's nothing else to come before the board, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So my VA housing is still not under the radar?
I have to tell you, you have to wait.
I can read behind that smile. How are you?
Just fine.
Good.